Hey, everybody, welcome to the official Do Good Better podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Kirby, and of course, we talk about things that are going to help our small and medium-sized nonprofits do good better, and it's just me today. Another one of those Thursday mini episodes. So today, I get an opportunity to hop on a webinar with a couple hundred of our closest friends, brought to you by One Cause, which is one of my favorite groups. Help sort of nonprofits with their fundraising and events and that kind of stuff. And it was like an Ask Us Anything therapy session. And the question came up with, hey, what's some super hot, super cool techie things that you're using now in the nonprofit world? Or what are you using for fundraising that's pretty cool? Of course, I immediately dived into the ChatGPT stuff because you know I'm obsessed about this kind of thing. And I know that we kind of have this theme this week on venture philanthropy in our blog and some of our other podcast stuff. But what dawned on me is like, venture philanthropy is one of the things that you're looking for a cool new investment opportunity. You're looking for an opportunity to make impact and maybe make a little bit of money on the side. That kind of outside of the box thinking when it comes to fundraising. One of the things that I found this week, I'm going to give you a fundraising hack. Everybody's got a hack, right, nowadays. One of these fundraising hacks that I just love the idea of, and I want everybody to get on board with this. I don't even have no affiliation with this. By the way, apparently I'm a terrible venture philanthropist because I'm going to give you all this information for free, and I don't get a penny for this. Let me give you a little inkling that you need to go to whatever domain registry that you have. And I want everyone to pick up a .giving domain name. They just released it this week, right? So latter part of January is when everybody went scorched earth. Charities can now register websites with a .giving. Whether it's GoDaddy or Wix or whatever, you're going to find your kind of thing on this. This allows your nonprofit to signal every intent that you have as far as a communications opportunity with your donors. Think about this, right? Let's just say we go to a dogoodbetterconsulting.com. Well, you're going to get a business kind of thing, right? What if it's dogoodbetter.giving? Okay, now all of a sudden, you know exactly what you are going to be clicking on, which is something that is really interesting and unique. So what I consider this to be a wonderful outside of the box sort of opportunity to give another tool in your toolbox, another arrow in your quiver when it comes to communication with your donors. Very cool opportunity. So let's talk a little bit of ways on how you can give this. Now, they're going to range from anywhere from $8 to like $35, right? So just budget it. Get it in your system, whatever your organization's name is, get a .giving piece to it. It's super awesome thing. We'll drop a couple of links in the show notes so you can click on those and get one right away. I think that this is a wonderful opportunity to sort of give you a more another option, another way to communicate. Your org is always going to be your number one place to drop here. But this might be, you might have a complicated name, right? I'll give you my example, right? dogoodbetterconsulting.com. It's a long ass name. I get it. dogoodbetter.giving. Great name. So if you've got a very long network name, it's very confusing to kind of do that, but you've already registered and you've already thrown in the towel with that. Easy peasy right here. But what it does is that gives you clarification on some fundraising opportunities. So let's just say you're doing a nonprofit giving site. And you want to have your own donation page that is just your thing plus giving, which means you can communicate with your .org or your .com on everything else. But when it comes to donations, you've got this .giving piece. It's just a remarkable option in a series of options that you have at your nonprofit, which I think is really interesting. So let's play around with what that looks like as far as communication goes. So say there's a giving day. Let's just say there's a philanthropy day. Let's just say it's a day that's dedicated to talking about the cause that you're fundraising for. What a wonderful opportunity to build a very simple landing page with a little bit of work on what you're trying to fundraise for, what that's going to go to, how you're going to use that money. It's your organization.giving. Entirely different marketing campaign, entirely different thing. You can be unique in your voice or your verbiage, because it's just a separate entity that always has the donor in the back of your brain going, okay, philanthropy first when it involves this particular piece. This is going to be one of those things where a lot of organizations are going to just chomp it up. But what if you work in the space, you're a smaller nonprofit, and maybe one of the big boys and girls haven't picked up their stuff yet? It might be in the cancer thing, right? It says cancer.giving, or there's a bunch of things. I walked through the list this morning. Like I looked on, and I'll give you a GoDaddy, and just type in the service network that you are in and find a .giving website. Buy it for $30, and you might control the market nationally or globally within your realm when it comes to this. You know, have you thought about what your service is? Is it homeless.giving? Is it autism.giving? Is it education.giving? Whatever that is, there's not going to be a lot of those left. But if you can generalize a topic that you're involved with at your organization, and you can associate this with a .giving page, my goodness gracious. If you got to this podcast early, you're going to get really good at this. Take a couple of them, right? What I mean in venture philanthropy is what we kind of blogged about, which we'll drop in the comments as well, or in the show notes, is taking a different approach to the traditional way that we have always raised money, right? The way we've always done it this way. It's the worst. We haven't talked about that in a long time. It's the worst phrase in the English language. Well, here's an opportunity that's presenting you on a nice little silver platter. I think you should go get it. And I think it would be really interesting to figure out what you're doing. So grab one, think about what you're going to do. Let me know about it. And maybe we'll do a podcast about what you have done or created in this style with your .giving website. Little helpful hint here from the official Do Good Better podcast. Hey, thanks for stopping by. Drop in the show notes, drop in the comments what you like, what you liked. But hey, is there topics or a question you'd like to ask me? We're going to use this space in our little mini podcast on Thursdays to talk exactly about that. Have yourself an awesome rest of the week. We'll talk to you next. Get your .giving thing. Click on the show notes. We'll give you a whole bunch of links. We'll talk to you next week here on the official Do Good Better podcast.